We're in South Louisiana. Anyone who's got allergies, take this.
NAD is probably the biggest thing coming out right now on anti-aging. Normally, like when we're tight in here and you start getting that pressure and you're taking those joints and muscles through full range, this one feels almost addicting. So consistency over intensity. And then we're just going to roll up and down. It seems crazy, but when you go get massages and they're finding tightness in here, the first thing you need to do is start releasing this stuff. Kelly, thank you. You did the exercises last week and it helped a lot.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Tea with Dr. D. And you know what? I'm full disclosure. I'm living a lie. This is actually coffee this morning. So Tea with Dr. D, and I'm not even drinking tea today. So we're getting crazy. We're getting deep today. We're going to dive in and do a bunch of good stuff. First of all, thank y'all all for sharing. Thank you for all of the comments, questions. I love the information that comes out on this stuff, especially those of you who are on the text platform and who are asking questions and getting value out of that. That has really been something that I've enjoyed kind of communicating with you on a kind of one-to-one basis. And it's a little bit easier to kind of ask those questions and to kind of get the information that y'all are trying to figure out. I know there's a lot out there when it comes to finding good information. We can find a lot of information, but is it valuable? Is it good information? Is it helpful? And so the one thing that I'll say that this show has done is certainly brought us closer to a lot of our patients and allowed me to have a better communication. The other thing is that it has made me keep my office somewhat cleaner. This is not normal. What you see behind me, that's a facade. So but I really do appreciate y'all sharing the show and y'all reaching out and asking questions. That really helps me to kind of answer your questions and to give y'all more value with everything that we do here. So if you're dropping in, please jump in, say hi. Let me know what you think and what can I do for you? How can I help? What questions do you have that I can answer for you? We're here to just kind of give y'all some value, and I'm going to feed off of y'all. So with all of this stuff going on, I know there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of questions surrounding, health right now. And I do think that gives us the opportunity to start to use this time to change things. I think if we use this time to springboard and start to say, look, we don't know when our health is going to be important, but we know that we need to take the time now to start improving that, because we can't go back and kind of catch back up to that opportunity, if you will. So good morning, Star. What can I help you with this morning? What questions do you have? Drop them in there. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're staying safe. Everybody, the family is all doing well. So those are the things that we really want to get out of this is, let's go through this kind of negative, crazy situation, and let's actually kind of come out on the other side healthier. Let's come out on the other side stronger, better. So with that, yes, text questions, please. Our text platform is 801-691-7582. Please use that. Shoot us a message, send us a text. We're always working on improving that thing. We've got some very good, exciting information that's starting to come out on there. So if y'all aren't on our text platform, jump in there, shoot us a message. We're going to be using that for a lot of our information, our giveaway stuff, our experiments. If you want to be on like the cutting edge of using science and technology, and you want to learn about that stuff, that's where it's going to go first. I promise you. So is those people. Good morning, Mr. Lofstrom. If you got any questions I can help you out with, drop them in there, man. Hope you're doing well. And so if you're not on there already, get on there. Chris, you're included in that. So jump in there, shoot us a message on there, and we'll get to kind of play around with some of that stuff. So Let's dive into a couple questions and then we'll kind of jump back into some of the posts and stuff like that. So I know we had gotten quite a few after last time. And so what was the text info? Look at the bottom. My wife tested negative for the flu, waiting on results for COVID-19. Is there anything she should be doing now? So I got this question a couple of times, or some version of this. I know people are still kind of going through this. What do I do if I start to feel respiratory issues, if I start to feel sick? Look, my perfect disclosure right here is make sure you get professional help. Make sure you go see your doctor. Make sure you go to whatever care facilities you have current relationships with. Make sure that we are getting the professional guidance that you need. Nothing that we put on here, nothing that we say on here is me giving anybody specific medical advice. This doesn't assume a patient practitioner relationship. But with that said, if there are those symptoms, if somebody you love, if you start to feel like, hey, I'm getting, look, if I was getting some respiratory stuff and I'm getting, kind of feverish and you're feeling something like that, what are the steps to go through? Because there may be a little bit of a window where you don't know the answer of what you've got. You don't know the answer of, do I have something? Do I not? The first thing right now, and this is a tough one in the very early stages, is to try and hold back from taking any NSAIDs. So like ibuprofen, anything in the NSAID category, Advil, all of that stuff. Try not to take that. That short-term anti-inflammatory seems to make this thing progress worse. That's a tough one, because in those beginning stages, you're like, look, I don't feel very good. I want to take something. In those early stages, with what we've seen in some other countries, we need to start dosing up highly with vitamin C. And like we talked about last time, if you're taking vitamin C, you've got to do that throughout the day. And so what I would tell your wife is, start taking 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, 4 or 5 times a day, and start to really add that up. And what that'll do is that'll keep your vitamin C levels in the blood high, and you'll never dip down. What happens for a lot of us, we take our emergency, which is 1,000 milligrams, and we take that in the morning. And then what the graphs show is that starts to decline pretty quickly. So within 2 to 3 hours, if we're only taking 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, that's going to start to dip. So you've got to kind of time that where you're actually taking that consistently throughout the day. So that would be step one. Step two would be start dosing up on vitamin D and start getting vitamin D naturally. So start getting, and I'm a fan of doing the same thing with vitamin D. Take your 2,000 to 4,000 IUs. They say that, people who are in a sufficient range can only absorb about 4,000. But if you're deficient in vitamin D, you're going to absorb more than that. And so same thing, you may want to do 2,000 IUs of vitamin D in the morning, at lunch, in the evening, and get, 6,000 IUs, 8,000 IUs of vitamin D. And get in the sun, get some actual natural vitamin D. I know it's hot out there. I know summertime seems like it's already here, but that would be a really good thing. Rest and hydrate. When we're going through this stuff, we've got to make sure that we're keeping the body as strong as possible. When your body wants to rest from these things, we need to let it conserve all of that energy so that we can build up. And with that, get tested. Make sure you're working with your medical professional kind of going forward, depending on what the test comes back with. But I know there's a lot of fear that comes around that. There's people who are afraid, one way or the other, what's my test going to show? So get tested. They're a lot more accessible right now. If you're in that situation where you're not sure, contact them. But that's where you want to start in that interim time where you don't know what's going on. Those are the kind of 3 to 4 things that you can start with that's going to make the outcome regardless better. So that hopefully that helps you out. If you want more information about that, please jump on and let us know. say some good mornings here. Good morning, Christy. I hope you're doing well. Good morning, Rachel. I hope y'all are doing great. Yeah, let me know. We're getting back up and rolling. If you need to get back in, give me a call. Call the office. They're itching to help. We've got everything covered out here. I'm extremely confident in all of the things that we're doing as an office to navigate this phase 2 and really start to kind of get people back to doing some health activities and staying very, very healthy. So if y'all are looking for some of that stuff, if you've had questions, we've had a ton of y'all reach out about doing the float spa stuff, doing cryotherapy again, getting in with the Hero recovery program and the full body percussion massages and stuff. All of that is coming in phase 2. So as soon as we get the go ahead, I promise I will let y'all know and we can get everyone in. Hopefully right now that's soon. I know they're watching it and they're trying to decide on what phase 2 looks like. So that's what we're waiting on with that. So please be patient. Thank you. Thank you all for the support during this stuff. I'm going to throw a link in here for everyone who's been kind of patient and waiting on that stuff. We're going to have a little special offer for float cryo, PEMF, infrared, so that we can kind of get everything back up and running and get y'all back in. So look for that in the comments here. We'll put that out and let a bunch of y'all kind of get some little extra bonuses whenever it comes to getting this stuff back up and rolling. So awesome. If y'all have questions, please let me know. I'm here for y'all. So if there's anything that y'all want to know, I'm more than happy to answer them. So Scott Robichaux, good morning, sir. Good morning. I hope you're doing great, man. How long should we take glutathione to detox? Then do we take it once a month, once a year? Okay, I think I remember this is kind of a bit of a bigger question. So when we're taking glutathione, I think there's really 3 parts of that program. So if you're taking it, you're going to take it in kind of 3 different phases. So phase 1 is if you've never taken an antioxidant and you've never detoxed before. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. It's a very strong one. It helps all the other antioxidants that you're taking work more effectively. If you're going to start taking that, we recommend in those first 2 weeks that you start with like a half a dose. So the one that we recommend by Dr. Keller is 3 pills in the morning, 3 pills in the evening. So you're taking 6 total, or you could take 6 all in the morning. In your first probably 2 weeks of that, what I would say is to take 2 in the morning and 1 at night, so that you're taking a half of a total dose. And then as you get into those 2 weeks, then add that full dose. So take the full 3 pills in the morning, 3 pills in the evening, so that you're getting the full dose. And that's your kind of antioxidant level. That's what you're going to stay at. That's what I stay at, pretty much year round. Now there's one caveat. The third part of that glutathione kind of system is we've got the intro where you're going to do half, your maintenance phase, if you want to call it that, where you're just taking a regular, full dose, 3 pills in the morning, 3 pills in the evening. And then you're going to take a detox dose, if you will. And we tell people to do this before you do any fasting, before you do any other like detox programs, if you start doing some intermittent fasting where you're doing like an 18-hour fasting window in your day, your body's going to start going through and trying to break down stored energy. So it's going to turn inward and go break down cells and break down fat cells to use for energy. That's, the ketogenic diet's everything right now. Everybody's talking about it. That's what that is. When you get into ketosis, your body turns inward and goes and breaks down these fat cells for fuel. Now, one of the ways our body protects us is by storing toxins in these fat cells. It kind of surrounds them in a nice little fat cell and keeps them away from us. So if we go through that and we don't have antioxidants to help our body clear out those toxins, to help our body fight off the oxidative stress that clearing out those toxins is going to cause, we're going to go through really tough detoxes. And if y'all have done our reset program and you had like a really rough week, most likely what was happening is you were getting into actual detox phase where your body is releasing, some actual chemical toxins into your body to clear it. We need to get it out. It's a good thing. What we tell people to do is before you do a reset program or any type of detox, add a dose of glutathione. So in those instances, we'd say once you've done everything, you've been on maintenance for a while, you'll do like 3 pills in the morning, 3 pills at lunch, 3 pills at night. So you're getting that extra dose of antioxidant so your body can actually detox better. It'll make your experience in, if you are using it as a reset, if you are doing a detox, that would be a really, really good way to do it. And then when you come off of it, drop back down to your maintenance dose of, 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening. So that's how we do that. So make sure you start with that 2-week window. Make sure you let your body get accustomed to having that increased antioxidant in your body, because you will do some detoxing in the early stages of whatever's been in there. And the symptoms of detoxing is sometimes like GI distress, mild headaches, a little bit of kind of jittery feelings, kind of cold sweats at times. Anything in that is detox type of stuff. You'll avoid most of that if you start with a half a dose, if you start with a half of a recommended dose. So hopefully that helps. I know it sounded like there was a little bit of confusion. I don't stop taking glutathione. That's one of the only supplements that I take year round, nonstop. We know that we lose that stuff in normal circumstances once we turn 20, and it's really, really important to our health and longevity. So that's one of the number one things I tell people to be taking. And we can see that in blood tests whenever we start looking at people. Where are your glutathione levels? I'll tell you, most of the people who have not taken any types of glutathione or antioxidants, when we blood test them, their antioxidant profile is very, very poor. So this is one that's really important. I don't come off of that. There are times where I'll probably miss my morning dose. I never miss my nightly dose. It makes me sleep so much deeper. When we track sleep, we see people get a lot better, deeper quality sleep taking those 3 pills right before we go to sleep. There's a few people who say if they take glutathione an hour or 2 before bed, that it almost wakes them up a little bit. We sit there, sit on the edge of the bed, have your glass of water, take your couple of nightly supplements, and kind of knock out straight from there. Everyone I've recommended that gets much better, deeper quality sleep. So hopefully that helps. Good morning, everyone who joining us. I see a few people kind of jumping on and off there. If you have any questions, let me know. Say hi in the chat there, and we'll answer any questions that you have. So good morning. What else we got? Yeah. So kind of fear mindset healing. We got a lot of responses and kind of questions over the last probably 2 weeks on that had an underlying question of fear, of kind of worry, and a lot of people who were trying to ask other questions, but you could see this underlying fear that was coming out. And I was listening to a friend of mine talk about all the things that he was doing around his house for EMF stuff, so electromagnetic frequencies that can be negative for your health. And he was doing a lot. And there is a lot of research that's coming out that's saying, our body does get affected by our Wi-Fi router and by, these faulty electric outlets and things like that. But there was so much energy that he was using mentally towards this correction that you could see the fear in him. What he was having was a fear response to all of the things going on in his environment. And my response to him was whatever benefit that you're probably getting from a kind of changing your environment and reducing that EMF exposure, you're probably negating that by being so afraid and living on this constant kind of fear edge. And that's something I see a lot with patients. When we start looking at how do we heal and how do we get things better, we're really looking at 3 things. We've got the physical stress, we've got the chemical stress, and we've got the emotional stress. So when you've got those three things to get someone better, we've got to at least correct two. If you've got, physical and emotional stress, you get that better. A lot of times the chemical is going to improve. So physical is kind of what we do here. That's how's the body moving, the muscles, the joints, the nerves, everything in there that we can move and physically get better. The chemical is going to be like, that's what we're doing blood tests for. That's what we want to know is inside of you. That's your blood levels, your vitamins, your minerals, your hormones, all of that stuff. And then, your emotional is all of the things that you think and believe that happen to you. That's the stress that you're dealing with every day. That's the fear that you're dealing with every day. And that one alone, they all affect each other. They all sit there. If that one stays like that, then the trickle down effect is that it can negatively affect the other two significantly. For us to get you better, we've got to address those three in some aspect, but we've got to get two significantly better. So over here, what we'll do is look, let's give you the absolute best care to get the physical stuff better. And I truly think that for those of our patients that come in and do like the full advanced healing programs that we offer, it's the best stuff that we have from a physical healing standpoint. We can get the joints corrected, the tissues, the nerves, the cells, all of that can improve. Now, if that's all we do and we just get the physical stuff better, a lot of those people feel better, but if they don't do one of the other two, it's going to be short term. So, that's why we're such a big proponent of actually kind of cleaning up the diet, taking the supplements that you need to take, because we've got to get that chemical environment in your body better so that your physical changes can actually take place, that your physical changes can heal and your body has the energy to go through that. The one that I think a lot of people miss that is one of the reasons they stay there. They stay in that kind of pain, sick, hurting, damaged area is that emotional stress, that fear that we kind of constantly live with, that something's wrong with me. I'm dealing with something whenever I'm feeling this stuff. And it's a really hard thing to explain. I'm doing a lot of writing and stuff right now. And it's like, how do you explain what that mindset is? But I see it. And when I see those patients, I know like, this is going to be a deep treatment, but because for me to get you better, we're going to have to get to a lot deeper level than, oh, hey, here's a muscle spasm. I need to release the muscle spasm and you're going to feel better. Whenever you're in that mindset of like constantly going in and trying to find what's wrong, what could this be? And there's this fear that's associated, or this anxiety and stress that's associated with, what might be going wrong with that. The negative effects of that is a very massive trickle down effect. I mean, they see that people in that state, in that fear and anxiety state, their body breaks down foods differently. Their body breaks down energy or tries to produce energy differently. Their hormone response to foods are different. So when we're in that state, it's like, we've got to address that to get the other two better. We've got to start to dive in and say, what were those experiences that I'm dealing with that I didn't process, that I'm kind of feeling like I'm afraid to bring up? What were those feelings that maybe I held on to that seemed to have started this? And there's a lot of people out there who are working on these types of things that have some really good programs. And look, most of my patients, when we try and have this conversation, it's like, okay, well, are you trying to say that I'm crazy? And it's like, no, that's not what this is. This is a part of all of our lives. And yet it's uncomfortable for us to talk about. And so it doesn't get talked about. I have patients who will come in and we'll talk about their diagnosis and like say, are you afraid of that? And, their eyes start to kind of tear up. No one's ever asked them that. Or, their primary care or their doctor or, their therapist or chiropractor or whatever, goes down the checkbox and says like, are you depressed? No, I'm not depressed. Okay. And we move on, and we don't actually get to some of these underlying emotional kind of constructs that really can negatively affect our health in a big, big way. And I really think that if that's something that we focus on even a little bit, we'd have so many more people who have chronic pain that actually have a light. They actually can see there's a way for me to get out of this, and I can do that. But we've got to kind of go in and work on some of that stuff. And it's a hard thing to do. So when we're dealing with that stuff, one thing to do is to just call it out. You know, hey, I am dealing with some fear. I'm afraid of what's going on. I'm afraid I'm not going to get better. I'm afraid of what this would mean if I don't get better. And actually just state it, write it down. And a lot of times just doing that stuff will start to kind of give your brain this reprieve. You're like, okay, I can put that down. I don't have to hold on to that. And then we've got to start kind of getting into that positive thought process. And if you do a couple of those things, like one of the things I want to do is combine those types of things with our float therapy. I know a lot of y'all have tried the float therapy stuff. It's such a great way to just get your kind of, mind to go in and fix a lot of that emotional baggage that we're all carrying around. So that's something that we really want to kind of work on a little bit and see if we can't, combine some of these things. There's a woman like Sydney Hopper, I think is her name, who's doing a lot of really good stuff. She's got some great videos that take people through, these visualization exercises, these breath work exercises, and try and kind of go back and try and clear out some of these stoppages that can negatively affect the physical, the chemical. So that's something I see a lot right now. And I'm not saying everybody's got it, but a lot of people who are having negative health responses throughout this last, 2 to 3 months, if you've had a health issue that's gotten much more progressive, I would spend a little bit of time thinking, like, how much am I, in a fear or worry or anxiety state? Am I thinking a lot about what's going on, in me? And does that bring a fear response as opposed to a resilient response? Okay, I can get this body stronger. I can get healthier. Here's the steps I'm going to take. And we want to start to cultivate that. We want to start to cultivate that resiliency. That's one of the things that I like about what a lot of people say when they do either sauna or cryotherapy is they don't want to do it, and it's this hard thing, and they come out of the other side saying like, oh, awesome, I feel better. I overcame this thing. My body was able to tolerate these cold temperatures, this cold plunge, or these hot temperatures, and the sweat that comes with it. And so that's something that affects a lot of people. And it's an easy way for us to kind of step into that, doing some sort of a resilient exercise, whether that be, cold plunges, heat, exercise, running. I was listening to a doctor talk about it, and he tells his patients, do anything that you can do to get your heart to a point where you're like, I'm on the verge of feeling like I can't do this for a second. He was like, that little boost of hormones and getting the blood pumping and getting the heart pumping kind of tells your body, hey, I'm back, I'm alive, I can do this stuff, I can do something hard, and it's going to be okay. So look, it's hot. Don't go take off and try and run like 5 miles if you haven't done that, but do any little resilient exercise and start kind of thinking about this a little bit. I really believe that if you are in one of these kind of fear and anxiety states, and that's your natural, because of no fault of your own, just how you've gotten here through life, that we've got to spend some time to correct that, to truly come out on the other end and say, I'm healthy, I'm good, I feel great, I'm healed, and I'm living the life that I'm supposed to live. So I hope that helps. I got a lot of feedback and questions on that. Spend some time, kind of think about some of that, because it's deeper than an easy yes or no question. So I know that's deeper than a lot of people want to get whenever we're talking about some of these things, but that's the whole idea. That's what we're all about, is how do we actually make these changes? So let's see, do we do baseline blood work? we're working on some stuff for that. We're working on it. I would love to have the ability to get y'all access to some of the really good testing that you can get real answers with. A lot of times what I've done is like complete blood testing and stuff through my physician, and it just doesn't give me actionable information. Like it gives me, you know, what are your baseline lipid levels. We really need to know some deeper answers about like vitamins, minerals, hormones. We need to know some deeper information about our lipid profiles. And so that's the type of stuff that you can change right away. You can get that, and we can say, look, here's where you're at. You need to eat this. You need to take this. We need to start working on this. Your inflammatory levels are high, and that's going to affect your health negatively. So that's what we're working on. Stay tuned, Christy. We're really trying to get that into an easy place for everyone to be able to get those answers. Because like we just talked about, that's a very big part of us getting you better if you're in one of these kind of chronic health situations where you've had multiple little injuries that have popped up. You've had multiple health issues that have stacked up. There's not the, hey, just fix the physical. You know, we've got to address that physical. And in an ideal situation, we want to address the physical, the chemical, and the emotional. And when you put those together, that's where we're getting the power. Like that's where you're seeing these crazy dramatic changes in people who, you know, really get their life back, get out of chronic pain, and actually get to a point where they're like, look, I'm healthy. I feel great. So the test that we use for that is something called a Spectracell test. That is a micronutrient test, and then we do a lipoprotein particle test. So we use Spectracell for both of those. They come in the same kit. It's a blood draw. You send it off, and they use their Spectracell testing, which is kind of this big complicated machine, which is why nobody does that in their office. And they'll do that to get the answers of, and you can go to spectracell.com and see all the stuff that you can get from that. But it's not just all of your vitamins and minerals and hormone levels, looking at those like antioxidant levels and testing your glutathione levels and knowing like how healthy is my body. I'm trying to eat healthy. I'm taking my multivitamin, but what is actually inside me and how healthy is that stuff? And what little things do I need to tweak to get healthier? And so that's a good one. If they're a Spectracell provider, insurance covers some portion of that. Of course, all that's kind of dependent on insurance and, filing, and depends on probably programs and stuff. But I think even with that said, it's worth the cost of it because of what it will save later in health. If you do that and you make those couple of little tweaks and you get all of your micronutrients and vitamins and minerals and hormones into balance, you're going to save money in the long run. I promise you. So for a long time, that's a test that is like on my yearly, how much are you going to spend on different things? That one is on there, and I think together they might be like $600, which is not a small thing. But when you look at the benefits of knowing what you need and what you can change to get healthier, I think it's a massive thing to really take your health serious. That's something that we need to be doing. So stay tuned. Hopefully we can get some great information out to y'all. We're working on a few good things for you. So the one of the questions that we got, and I'll pop it up even though she probably doesn't want to do it. Can we get a therapist? One of the things that I like about people doing flotation therapy, like integrated into their care and getting in the sensory deprivation tank, is that when you get in there, your brain is going to take care of what it needs to. So, if there's been a stressor, if there's been a worry, if there's something you're latching onto, and you get in there and you do that, once a week, once every other week, even just for like a 30-minute session, your brain knows what needs to happen. And there's been many sessions where I've gotten in the float tank and I finish, and there's some thought that I'm sitting there kind of, remembering or a memory or anything like that, that just loops. And I'm like, I didn't even know that I had that memory in me. I didn't even remember that situation. I didn't remember that stressor, whatever it might have been. So your brain knows how to handle these things if we shut down and give it the time to handle that. So that's a really great way. I'm a big fan of using meditation to do that stuff, but I've talked to probably 200 to 300 people who were meditators and have since kind of backed off of it a little bit, and they're intermittent with it. And I fall into that category a lot, where I'll meditate for, a month or two straight, and then I'll fall off for a month or two. And then, for me, it's usually like I'm reading a book and some author talks about how much they get out of their meditation practice. And I'm like, okay, I'll start meditating again. And so the kind of benefits from doing some of that is very, very palpable for a lot of people. But can we keep doing it? Is it so palpable that we wake up and we're like, I have to meditate today? That's hard for a lot of people, at least from what y'all tell me. And so the float tank does that for us, at least in most of our people who use it regularly. So that's something that, can we get the benefits of improving the emotional and mental stress without actually having to kind of sit down, with a therapist? Probably not always. I think there's times where there's some deep stressors in there that we really just can't handle on our own, and we need to get that help. And I hate that in this country, it's such a stigma that like mental health is this negative thing on me, and not just like, I had a sprain and I need to go get it checked out. In a lot of these other countries that are more progressive in that aspect, that's what it is. It's just another part of the healthy system. Like, I wasn't feeling like myself, and I went and got some therapy, and I feel a lot better. I talked it out. I got a couple of tactics that I can use to stay healthy, started doing breath work, started doing some meditation. But here, the mental health side of things is has a negative connotation that it's really tough for us in the office to have these conversations that we just talked about. Like explaining to someone that there's physical, chemical, and emotional problems that all combine to create, whatever issue you're actually feeling, is really, really hard. People always go to this negative state with that, which might tell us something, but it is something that is very, very important to our health. It's very, very important to healing. And kind of our subtle way of getting people to go through that and actually get some great benefits is to actually go through and do some of the like flotation therapy, and really sit there and let your brain get some relaxation, shut all of those signals down, and just let your brain do what needs to happen. Let your brain actually kind of recovery and heal. So it's definitely something that is extremely helpful. I think we got the staff's addition to that. I did not put this, by the way. So, there's a lot. And I think, look, you even listen to one of the first places that I heard somebody talk about using kind of meditation or flotation therapy was Arnold Schwarzenegger, talking about how he could not focus when he was early in his career. He had so many different things going on, and he was like, I can't be effective in this instance without my emotions getting the best of me. And so he started a meditation practice. He started doing something back then that was similar to flotation therapy. And he said, like, I think after a year, he was like, look, I feel like I've got this under control. I feel like I can actually handle some of this stuff. And I've learned to kind of stay in that moment and be present. And so, look, I'm in this, I jump back there and we'll do a float, and I'm working on it. I'm gonna keep y'all in the loop, because I'd love to get to where I'm doing that and I'm staying consistent with meditation. So y'all keep me accountable for that. I'll leave that to y'all to help me out. So there are some absolutely amazing counselors and therapists. I would say that would be ideal. If you're in a stressed or a chronic pain situation, it's hard for me to say that there's no one who needs that, who's been in chronic pain. Even if, let's say, you were a perfect, mentally strong individual and you got in an accident and that accident kind of puts you in this chronic pain state, there's a lot that gets wrapped up into that. There's a lot of resentment. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of stress that gets wrapped into that stuff. If you were healthy and we get diagnosed with a disc injury, I hear it all the time. People come in and they're like, I'm afraid to move. I'm afraid that I might make this worse. Like, that little voice in there is going to affect a lot of things in your health. And that's a simple thing, just to talk through the fears that you're feeling, to write them down. I'm a big fan of just getting the fears that you have out and just put that stuff on paper. I think there's something very, very helpful about doing some of that. And I see a lot of this going on right now, which is why I'm spending so much time on it. I think that this has opened kind of a can of worms where it just highlighted this kind of health issue that we're having right now in the country. We talk about all these different, kind of obesity epidemic and all that stuff, but we've got a health epidemic. I mean, we've got many, many people who don't know what to do. They don't know where to find the information, and they don't know which parts of the puzzle they are missing. And so, I think it's a good thing is to sit there and say, what am I doing for my physical health? What am I doing for my chemical health? What am I eating? What supplements am I taking? What testing am I doing? What am I doing for my emotional health? And just having that pie, and every week just checking up on that. Like, I did great physically. I had 2 days where I fell off chemically. I didn't eat real well, or I missed my supplements, or, I don't know what to take. Well, let's start answering that. Let's fill that pie piece up, if you will. So hopefully that's some helpful information. I know that we get a lot of questions on different versions of this. So please kind of think about that whenever you're hearing from your friends that are kind of dealing with pain, dealing with issues, dealing with health issues. I do think we need to do a better job of addressing all of those pieces in there. So, Jennifer, I'm with you. I'm really hoping we can get, and we're going to have some great stuff offering once we can get people back in. I'm really hoping that we can start getting the float spa, cryo spa, all that stuff back up and running really, really quickly. From our standpoint, that's something that we can almost get someone in and really almost have no contact at all. So it's a very safe thing. It's just, trying to follow what the guidelines are right now. You could almost come in and go through a full cryotherapy plus session, so cryo and then the infrared session and the PEMF session, and never really come in contact with anyone, and have your kind of spa tech take you through the whole thing and explain everything, and never be within 6 to 8 feet of you. So look, we pride ourselves on kind of the personal touch, but right now it's like, can we do all this and get you the benefits of everything in a very, very safe way while we're all going through this? So we're fingers crossed we'll get into phase 2 very soon, and we can get all that open back up and get y'all some good opportunities to get in and try that stuff. I think with what we were just talking about, so many people need this right now with what the last few months has been. There's so many different stressors that has arisen, whether that be health or financial or business or economical, on top of all the kind of issues around politically and all that stuff. So I really think being able to get people in and do it is going to be really helpful. So y'all pay attention. We're gonna drop something fun down in the comments there for y'all to be able to take advantage of. So awesome. What other questions we got? Y'all have any questions y'all want to hear? Y'all want to dive into anything? I've got about 10 more minutes that I can help out. What can I help with? We had gotten quite a few questions on anti-aging and stuff like that over the last week, and I do want to spend some time on it. We're almost going to spend like a whole session on anti-aging, because I think a lot of the benefits of kind of combining what we just talked about, all of those sections. How do we not let them spiral on us to get us our health out of whack? So we'll spend a whole session on anti-aging, what to take, what to do, what do we do consistently, how often. We'll spend some time doing some of that stuff. So well, awesome. So remember, look, do a little bit every day, do one health thing each day, every week, do a little checkup on yourself. Are we addressing all of those areas of health? Are we doing enough in each area just to know that we've got control over what we are doing, how we're living, how we're going through this life? I think we really can do a lot and really get a lot of benefits by just kind of spending a minute to kind of do a little mental check-in. Am I doing the things physically? Am I rolling out? Am I stretching? Am I exercising? Am I doing cardio? Am I doing the stuff to keep the chemical side healthy? Am I eating healthy, keeping sugar down, processed foods down, taking what supplements I need to take? Am I, doing a little bit to work on some of the emotional health? Am I doing a little bit of meditation? Am I spending some time in breath work? Am I taking a walk? Do the small things that add up so much. Just get a little bit healthier in each of those sections every day, and your life is in a totally different place. So, and can you break up post-surgical scar tissue? Post-surgical scar tissue initially is there to help you. Your body's trying to go in and kind of feel that stuff up. Your body's trying to go in and sew everything back together. We want to remodel that scar tissue. So we want to go in and get your body to kind of reform that scar tissue into the lines of movement that it needs to be in. And yeah, there's a lot that we can do to reform that and get your body to go through that process. So one thing I can tell you, a lot of this is physical. Whenever we're trying to, realign and reform scar tissue, a lot of that is a physical thing. We're doing hands-on stuff. We're using, over here, we're trying to stimulate your body to help us. So that's using medical dry needling. That's using these. That's using tools. We're using some different types of techniques to try and get that stuff in there to loosen it up, to actually kind of help your body to break that down and reform it. One thing I'll tell you to start taking now, if you need it, if it's really kind of severe scar tissue, is a supplement called Wobenzyme. And that is an enzyme that helps your body to process scar tissue faster. So normally that's something that we'll tell people if they've had issues with scarring before, to take for about 3 months. Do 3 months of Wobenzyme, and you'll really break down. If you combine that, alone, it's helpful, but it's not going to be everything. But if you combine taking Wobenzyme with doing some of the right scar tissue release techniques, you'll improve significantly. You'll see that change, movement. And then there's been a bit of information on consistent heat. So doing whole body heat. So that would be like taking hot baths every night, throw some Epsom salt in there, really start to relax those tissues, get the magnesium in, but start taking some Wobenzyme, start doing some hot baths, get good care, get some advanced stuff. A lot of times with scar tissue, just the simple kind of mobility work and just like massage and stuff is usually not enough if it's severe scar tissue. Depends on where it's at in the body, of course, but those two things will kind of put you in a kind of step up as you get started with some of that stuff. So good morning, Jody. I hope you're doing great. You're a scar tissue overachiever, Christy. Hey, look, if you're going to do it right. Well, great. That's all we got for y'all today. That's all the time we have. Please share some of this information. I know we get a lot of feedback. I appreciate it. I feed off of that. Please send us some messages. If you have questions, if you want to hear more about specific topics, send us a text, send us a message. We're here to help and give as much positive and valuable information as we can We can only do that if we're getting good questions and really helping y'all in what y'all need the help with. So I hope some of this stuff was helpful for you. Y'all check in the comments. I'm gonna give it maybe an hour, and then we'll put something fun down there for y'all to be able to take advantage of some of the things as we get to opening back up. But thank you all. Love you. Have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful weather. Get you some vitamin D and get that little bit healthier today. Have a great one.